it's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to create a card using this Avery Elle Stamp Set called Magnolia. And I am going to go ahead and prep my paper here. The paper that I'm using today is the Bristol Smooth. And I am actually going to be doing a little bit of watercoloring onto this. And this is technically not watercolor paper, but a lot of crafters use it as such. And I am also going to be doing that. And so this is the stamp set that I'm using from Avery Elle, and it's got these beautiful images of these magnolias, and I just absolutely love the open area of this flower. I have been super inspired by different things, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But first I am embossing this with first stamping it with some VersaFine Onyx black ink and stamping this down. And then, because this is a pigment ink, it allows me to cover my image with some embossing powder. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And the embossing powder that I will be using is from Brutus Monroe. It is their ICICLE. This is their clear embossing powder, and I absolutely love it. These Brutus Monroe embossing powders that I have been using lately are just absolutely fantastic. I can't speak highly enough about them. So I'm just going to make sure that that's good and covered there, and then I'm going to heat set that with my heat tool. Get that good and melted. And these just melt like a dream. I just love them. They're my new obsession, I guess. So I'm going to make sure that this is all good and melted. And then I'm going to take this off camera and also die cut this panel using a Mama Elephant cross-stitched rectangle die to just give it a little bit of a finished edge there. And so what I'm going to be using as my watercolor medium today is my Tombow markers. I actually received this whole entire set. I believe it's 120 markers for Christmas from my husband. And it's I was so surprised because I actually put this into my wish list cart on Amazon several years ago, and I totally forgot about it. And he found them, and I guess that's one of the things that he saw that I guess thought I would need it for this last Christmas as a Christmas present. So I'm happy he did, though, because I have been enjoying these. I'm really trying to get some good use out of these markers. And they are very simple to use, and you can use them in a multitude of ways. They've been around for quite some time. And I remember them whenever I started crafting about 19 years ago. And they are just, but I really didn't fuss over them. I really didn't think it was something that I just wanted to have or needed to have. But over the years, I've been seeing different ways that they're being used, and they're absolutely wonderful to watercolor with. So that's what I'm doing. As far as the color inspiration and color combination that I'm using, I've actually done one of these off camera just to practice more or less. And I did a pink version, and if you would like to see how the pink version turned out, it is over at my Instagram account. You can find me at KW Card Design over at Instagram. I post a lot of my card inspiration or just anything creative over there a lot. I'm over there quite a bit. I love Instagram. But I also wanted to do a little bit more of a traditional version, if you will, of a magnolia. So I got on my phone and I looked up, I almost said texted. I looked up on Google flowers of a magnolia and what they would look like, naturally, what the normal way they would look like. And of course, pink and then this color came up. And this is more of a muted yellow or a little bit of a tan color to me. So I tried to find the closest to that in the color selection that I had of these markers. And this is the one that I found really didn't go with that. And Lynn, really, I guess, just made it look like this is the color that I wanted to use. So I'm going in, and this is no fuss whatsoever. Y'all are literally seeing what I'm doing as far as laying down the color and the areas where I felt that needed the most shadow, and then just pulling it out with my water brush. And that's all I'm doing. It's super simple to do. I'm just so incredibly happy how this flower turned out. I am so inspired by a lot of crafters in the community and just overall colorists that whenever they get flowers and all type of floral images, how they color them, and just some of them just blow my mind. So beautiful. And one day I probably will, hopefully we'll get to their level, but for now I wanted to make it look like I'm up to their level, if you will. So I'm practicing more and more, and I'm just absolutely in love of how this one turned out. So no rhyme or reason as far as where I'm laying the color, but I am making a conscious effort to put it in places where I felt that there would be the most shadow on the flower. So the innermost part of the petal itself, and then the outer part of the petal too. And then just pulling that color out with my water brush. So I'm going to move on to the leaves. Not going to stay here long, but I just added just a little bit of color to the center, and then just pulling the color out with my water brush once again. I will be fixing these leaves later on in the video, because I felt that the green it doesn't look so much on the camera, but in person it looked a little bit too close to the color that I used on the flower. So I wanted to get a little bit of a different shade to the petals. And so later on in the video I will change that, and you will see that too. So I wanted to add a little bit of shadow and shading around the flower itself. So I picked a little bit of a robin's egg color blue to add some shading around this flower, and it really does make it pop and glow off of the cardstock. So now I'm going to work on the sentiment of this, and this comes from the same stamp set. It says congratulations, and I wanted to bring out that same blue color that I used for the outside shading. So I'm using Mermaid ink from Fawn. Of course, I'm stamping this using my Misty tool because these are new stamps, and I wanted to get a good coverage of the sentiment there. And now I'm going to work on the inside of the card, and I'm taking another one of those images from the stamp set and stamping down the sentiment good luck, and using the same ink from Fawn, the Mermaid ink from Fawn, and stamping this on the inside too. And it just, it's a pretty monochromatic look to the card. So I absolutely love the way this card turned out. I thought about putting some embellishments on the outside of the card, but I just wanted them to allow that flower to take center stage. I did add this to a A2 sized card base, which is also Mermaid cardstock from Fawn. And now I'm going to work on those leaves like I mentioned before. And I just took a deeper green color, a little bit of an olive color to the center of the leaves, and then I'm going to blend that out using the same water brush that I did before. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that this is technically not watercolor paper, and this is the very reason why it's not, watercolor paper. You don't want to add a whole lot of water to this this particular Bristol Smooth cardstock, because it does not hold a whole lot of water well. You can see that the image there on the leaves, it's peeling just a little bit on the paper. So you want to be careful whenever you're doing this. You don't want to go over the image too much. So I just want to be sure to give that tip out there. If you've never used this paper before and you decide to go ahead and watercolor on it, you don't want to add a whole lot of color to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I enjoyed bringing it to you. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to be a subscriber, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye-bye.